Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program is brought to you by A.G. Heinz Company. You know, folks, I've been telling you that they have been around for 100 years. That's pretty much all I need to say about them. Because if you've got a company that's been around for a century, that's pretty good company. That tells you all you need to know. But you also need to know right now they are staying, if you go down and visit them in downtown Knoxville at their location, they stay 6 feet away from you. They offer curbside service if you want it. They don't make you pick up a pen and sign anything. They are taking this social distancing thing very seriously. And I want to thank you for going by and seeing them. They got a lot of people going down there right now, a lot of people picking up. They do a great job in terms of getting you with the right building materials for your project and then telling you how to use the stuff. You might not get that at some of the big box stores. All right. Let's talk about J.T. Daniels. You see his information right there. Former five-star recruit who missed all but one game last year due to a knee injury. He has entered the transfer portal from USC. He could return to USC, of course, but if the NCAA grants the one-time waiver later this spring due to the coronavirus, and my guess is they will, he could also land somewhere and be immediately eligible. And he'll have 3 seasons of eligibility remaining. Let's go ahead and flip this to the next one. There you go. There's your quarterback room at the moment. All right, you've got 6 guys. One of them's a walk-on, in Kasim Hill, who came from Maryland. But you also see there the years they have left of eligibility. Hill with 2, Garantano 1. Everybody else is 3 or 4 years. Daniels would have 3 years. T. Martin, of course, is the USC connection on this, and everyone, because he recruited him to Southern Cal. So everyone's saying, okay, well, that's a potential landing spot. Gentlemen, what do you know about J.T. Daniels? I'll start with David then.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always want to add as much talent as possible. I think this would be a simpler sort of equation if he was set on, he's going to sit out this year and not play. But if you want to play this year, that's where the crowded room comes in, because you're probably risking it if you're trying to play for 2021. Maybe Garantano rides it out. Maybe Garantano struggles and Bailey comes in. And then if Bailey is taking over midway through the season, or Maurer is, and then it closes the season and one of those guys has a stranglehold on the starting spot, then you're kind of in a weird position. But for him, if you were trying to come in and play immediately, obviously it seems like Garantano is going to be the guy week 1, whenever week 1 is. Yeah. But it's complicated. I think I would lean toward, if you can get talent, you can get it. But then, of course, Tennessee, too, scholarship issue. They're full now. They haven't been in a while, and that could get complicated. I don't think he's going to come somewhere and walk on. So a complicated equation for Tennessee, but I think if you can get him in the room, you get him.
Okay.
I agree that it's complicated, especially because you're in a position where I guess you need to lose some bodies to bring in J.T. Daniels, not just as a quarterback, just talking about the 85 in the roster. But you do have 3 years there, and he's the guy that could be considered a long-term option. I don't know short-term, having not, I guess nobody's really practiced, but having come in and he's also coming off the knee injury. But I would also look at it as he has talent, and realistically, I think there's a chance you're losing a quarterback or 2 at some point anyway from that list. At some point, somebody's not winning a job, and they're going to go look elsewhere. There are at least a couple of guys that I would trade straight up for J.T. Daniels. So in the end, my long answer is I would try to bring him in.
Let's put the list back up there if you can do that. I'm sorry to throw our director. Chris, if you can get the last graphic back up there, great. Okay, there we go. Kasim Hill, he had a couple of really good wins under his belt when he was at Maryland, beat Texas twice. But I don't see him going from the walk-on position to being a real player in the mix for the quarterback. Jimmy Holiday, he wants to start at quarterback. They started him at quarterback. Most people I talk to think he'll finish somewhere else, not at quarterback. And then I'm surprised that Shroud has stuck around, because he'd been on campus longer than Maurer, but Maurer got the snaps last year, so I'm surprised that Shroud has stuck it out. So that thins out. If those 3, Hill, Holiday, and Shroud, aren't in the quarterback room, if changes come, that makes it a little bit more doable. But it would be interesting to see what happens between Harrison Bailey and J.T. Daniels at that point.
I think this is where you're getting into like the virus throwing everything into haywire, because this would have been a key spring, because you could know if you leave spring as the number 4 guy, you probably need to see if you can go play elsewhere. But when there's no practices and you still can kind of convince yourself, well, I can go play. And even if you are the number 4 guy, which right now, for the record, is Harrison Bailey, based on the one practice that we saw, it's still Harrison Bailey because he hasn't had a chance to really prove himself. But if you're sitting there, the transfer portal is not a great place to be, because everyone is dealing with this. You're seeing a lot less guys get in there. How do you go visit schools? How do you figure that out? How do you know a coach, is going to be able to take you? It's difficult, and so guys are kind of staying put, and so this is all, everything's changing, and that includes the transfer portal.
Well, and you also wonder, the NCAA is going to talk about this transfer waiver possibility for 1 year. That's coming up maybe this week. Actually, it's the end of April, so it'll be this week, I think. End of this week, they're going to talk about it. And then the vote is supposed to be in May as to whether or not they pass this thing. You wonder if they pass it and say, okay, you can go and you don't have to worry about sitting out a year, if that's going to start to move some more guys. Are they waiting to see that? But it's complicated, to steal your words.
Yeah, very.
All right. It's time for our Hindsight 2020 segment. When we come back next, it's the year 2020. Thus, we'll look back. I've asked Josh and Mike to tell me the best one-game performance by a Vol football player they've ever seen. And I'll give you mine, too. And we went in all three different directions. So this is pretty good. We'll talk about the three best one-man performances we've ever seen in UT football. Come on back. That's next on the Sports Source.